Welcome back, kids. I'm so glad that you could join us for another week of our Waypoint Kids series, Elements in Faith. How many of you think you could do 100 push-ups? What about going across the monkey bars 2 or 3 times? What about lifting a car? Any of you have that kind of strength? That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about strength. I've got a science experiment that I'm going to show you. We're going to crush a can, but we're not going to be using our hands. So in this experiment, we're going to be using a can and some hot water and some cold water, and we're going to implode. That means it's going to crush itself. It's going to shrivel right up. And you're going to see a familiar location. Well, actually not a familiar location. It's coming from my kitchen. So check this video out. Welcome, Waypoint kids. Welcome to my kitchen. Today you had to join me for one of our experiments in Elements of Faith from my kitchen. We have some items that we need for this science experiment, but first and foremost, you have got to have your parent with you. You need a parent's help today. So what you're gonna need is an empty soda can. You're going to need ice, and you're going to pour it into this glass jar. And then you're going to need some water, and you're going to fill this glass jar with water. Now, the next thing that you're going to need is a pan, skillet, and you're going to put it on your stove, and your parent is going to turn the stove on, and you're going to start to heat this pan up. And then what we're going to do, you also need a set of tongs. And I've got my own video crew today. So behind all these cameras is my kids today, everybody. So they're helping me out with this experiment. Now, we take this can, and if we were trying to crush this can, it doesn't really want to go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. But we're going to take a little bit of water, and then we're going to add this can to our pan. And it's going to sit on there and heat up until it starts to steam. Now, after your can has been on the stove for a while and you can start to hear it bubble and some steam is releasing, you're going to use your handy dandy tongs here, and you're going to grab the bottom of the can. And you are going to come over and dump it into the ice water where the can implodes. So what did you think about that experiment? Pretty cool, huh? Remember, make sure you have a parent with you if you're going to try that one at home. Now, today I told you that we're going to be talking about strength. Well, there's somebody in our Bible that had a ton of strength. It was a God-given gift. He was given all of this strength, and his name is Samson. So we're going to watch a little video about Samson because he is one of the strongest people. But then he gets a little cocky. And he thinks about how it's all him and how he got it all. And he forgets that it was actually given to him from God. And then he meets somebody. And when he meets this person, she keeps asking him, hey, how do you get your strength? Hey, how do you get your strength? And he would tell these little stories about how he got his strength, and she would try to defeat him. So I want you to watch this video, and then we'll come back and finish the lesson.
Stories of the Bible, Samson and Delilah. This is Samson, who was the last judge of Israel. Samson was very strong, and he was supposed to bring God's people victory over their enemies, who were the Philistines. Now Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah.
Oh, hey there.
Hi, hi.
And the Philistines came to Delilah
What's going on?
and convinced her to find out what the secret to Samson's strength was. They promised her a great amount of money if she could do this.
Now you're talking.
Hey.
Come in.
So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me what makes you so strong and what would it take to tie you up securely?"
Well,
Samson replied, "If I were tied up with 7 new bowstrings that have not yet been dropped, I would become as weak as anyone else."
You ain't here.
So the Philistine rulers brought Delilah 7 new bowstrings,
Look what I got.
go on, try.
and she tied Samson up with them.
Haha, see?
Oh no, Samson.
She cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." But Samson snapped the bowstrings,
Let me at him.
so the secret of his strength was not discovered.
Hey, wait a minute.
Afterward, Delilah said to him, "You've been making fun of me and telling me lies. Now please tell me how you can be tied up securely."
All right.
Samson replied, "If I were tied up with brand new ropes that had never been used, I would become as weak as anyone else."
Let me try.
So Delilah took new ropes and tied him up with them.
See?
Oh no.
And again Delilah cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you."
What? Where? Let me at him.
But again Samson snapped the ropes from his arms.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Then Delilah said, "You've been making fun of me and telling me lies. Now tell me, how can you be tied up securely?"
All right, I'll tell you.
Samson replied, "If you were to weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on your loom and tighten it with a loom shuttle, I would become as weak as anyone else."
Now we got him.
So while he slept, Delilah wove the 7 braids of his hair into the fabric. Again she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you."
Let me at him.
But Samson woke up and yanked his hair away from the loom and the fabric.
You gotta be kidding me.
Then Delilah pouted, "How can you tell me I love you when you don't share your secrets with me?
Come on.
No.
You've made fun of me 3 times now, and you still haven't told me what makes you so strong." She tormented him with her nagging day after day until he was sick to death of it.
All right already.
Finally, Samson shared his secret with her. "My hair has never been cut, for I was dedicated to God as a Nazirite from birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as anyone else."
Well, that's it.
Thank you.
Delilah realized he had finally told her the truth,
Hey, you.
so she sent for the Philistine rulers. "Come back one more time," she said, "for he has finally told me his secret." So the Philistine rulers returned.
Oh, Samson.
Delilah lulled Samson to sleep. And then she called in a man to shave off the 7 locks of his hair. Samson's strength left him. Then she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." When he woke up, he thought, "I will do as before and shake myself free."
Oh, what's going on?
But he didn't realize the Lord had left him. So the Philistines captured him and took him to prison.
So, in that video, we saw that Samson was very strong. And we saw that Delilah was there, and she was trying to figure out where the source of his strength came from. Now, we all know that that source of his strength was not from his hair. It was from God. But, like many people who do great things, we forget sometimes, and so did Samson, and he forgot that his power came from God. He forgot that his strength came from God. He didn't do those things on his own. He didn't accomplish any of the things that he did on his own. It was through and with God that he did what he did. Now, Samson telling Delilah about where his source of his strength came from was not necessarily his first mistake. Believing that it was all him was his mistake. Do we all make bad choices sometimes? Yeah, we do. We all mess up. But one thing that we need to remember is even when we mess up, God still loves us. God still cares for us. And what Samson did, and this part wasn't in the video, but what Samson did after he lost his strength, after he messed up, was he confessed. He asked God for forgiveness, and you can do that too. We all mess up. We all do things that we might be ashamed of, or that could scare us, or that could hurt us, or hurt someone else, and we know that God will still be there with us. All we have to do is ask for forgiveness. Samson had to ask for forgiveness, and he knew that God would give his strength back. He knew that God was still there with him, because when we've all lost sight of God and we've made poor choices, it doesn't mean that he's gone away. It just means that our focus has changed. So we need to turn back and we need to re-look at who God is and what he is to us. And we need to put him first. Because when we seek God first, when we know that that's our first priority, we know that we can accomplish anything. So boys and girls, if you have been feeling bummed, if you've made some mistakes, if you've just forgotten who God was, take a minute, pray, turn to him, ask him to be your focus, ask him to be with you. I'm so glad that you could join us this week. We miss you guys. We want to see you soon. Have a great week.